You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the July 30th special meeting for the LaPorte County Board of Commissioners. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the LaPorte County Commissioners Special Meeting, Wednesday, July 30th, 2025 at 2:15. This meeting, I don't have the actual agenda. Should have asked for that. Okay. I have it now. So, call the meeting to order. If everyone would like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Oh, I wasn't sure.
Commissioner Hollifield,
Present.
Commissioner Grammarosa,
Present.
Commissioner Haney.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Consider health insurance third-party administrator. We have Eric Gibson to come up and explain, if you will, please.
Yeah.
Madam President, before we get started, the reason why we had to have a special meeting is because we have a deadline tomorrow about what you're going to do. Because if you're going to give notice, because if you're going to change administrators, you have to give notice to the current administrator under the terms of the policy.
And that would be expiring July 31st, correct?
That's the notice period, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. Thank you, Guy. All right, so thank you all for your time. As you know, this is time sensitive, so again, I appreciate getting everybody together. I sent out a packet that included some marketing, so all of the marketing that we had done. So we'd gone out to 9 different stop-loss carriers. We got 4 quotes, 2 declines, and technically 3 are still pending. I'm assuming that those are going to be declines at this point, given our claims history. So I included the Anthem offer, the Berkeley and the UMR renewal, as well as our GIS consulting agreement, and of course any termination letters that you guys may need to sign depending on what you all choose here today. So I'm going to focus the majority of this conversation on this front page. If you are curious and you want to talk through it, we do have the additional stop-loss offers in the back, as well as illustrated on the following page. But frankly, they're not competitive, so really wanted to scope this on the competitive products that we have here, which is the current, which is UMR as your third-party administrator, Berkeley as the stop-loss, and then Prime Therapeutics as the pharmacy benefit manager. On this spreadsheet on the far left, we've got your current. The next column over, renewal initial, is also your current program. That was the Berkeley offer up until about 24 hours ago when they updated it. The following column over that I have highlighted in orange, the renewal revised, is the most recent Berkeley offer that they are firm and final on. So we're going to focus on the renewal revised versus the last column, which is the alternate one firm without rebate offset. And the reason we're going to do that is because in order to give a fair apples to apples comparison across the board here, Anthem is offering about $300,000 in pharmacy rebate credits that essentially they're going to give it to you on the admin side and then recoup through the rebates. So again, just to sort of level the dollars here, we want to normalize for that. So if we just start here on the revised renewal, you'll notice that the contract terms are nearly identical. The only difference is the actual contract time. So going from a paid contract to a 24/12, there's not going to be any difference. You guys aren't going to notice anything. The risk is the same. So moving down the spreadsheet here, if we actually jump to the red A, that is our total stop loss premium. You'll notice that the Berkeley revised renewal is about a 10% increase. Anthem's offer is slightly below that, but it's pretty negligible from a dollars and cents perspective. We go down to B, the administration costs. It's about a 1% increase versus about a 1% decrease. That yellow box below that is the estimated runout from the current program that we will have to buy. So overall total fixed costs is about a 6.9% increase staying with current, and about a 6.1, again, dollars and cents, it's pretty close, going to Anthem. Now, if we go down all the way to the red D, the expected claims liability and the maximum claims liability, this is where it starts to separate a little bit. About a 16.1% increase to stay with the current Berkeley and UMR versus just under 14% increase for going to Anthem for, again, TPA, stop loss, and the pharmacy benefit manager. So overall, on an expected basis, so third-party administrative, stop loss, pharmacy, and the claims, everything all in on an expected basis. With Berkeley, we are looking at about 13.1 versus about 12.9. So it's a savings of about $235,000. The other part of that is that we're not going to have to do the non-premium funding for the captive since it's not a captive program.
Does anyone have any questions?
So, I do have a question. So, today we're basically looking for a motion to give notice of
If you're going to term with UMR
now.
and Berkeley, you have to give notice.
Right. So all we would necessarily need to do today is, if we decided we wanted to term with them, to do that, but that would still technically give us the option later to still select them back if something changed, right?
I would assume, I haven't dealt with them, but I would assume that their proposal would still be on the table. Eric?
I would assume, but
If something, obviously
have to
looking at what we
clarify.
have right here in front of us, we've got, it probably makes more sense to go with Anthem, but just in case something comes up and we
If they come and say they're going
if
to
they
undercut
come
Anthem,
back and say, hey, we're going to knock another $1 million off, you want to take us, sometimes companies, when they realize
Sure.
they're about to lose out on a large provider like us.
That's what they did yesterday. This is their best and final. They're not going to revisit this.
Through the Berkeley.
Correct.
Okay.
So,
And what was the price difference between yesterday and the day before?
It's about $700,000 they knocked off. So it was over $1 million in savings. They made their best effort.
okay.
Yeah.
But still, we wouldn't have to make a decision on choosing someone new right now. We're just giving
So
them notice. to
either
make sure
way, if we
we're-
don't make a decision on this, Anthem is going to want to revise their numbers with new claims information. So that's one of the reasons why this is time sensitive. As time goes on and more data is available, Anthem's going to want to revise their numbers. Berkeley's going to revise their numbers. So it's going to continue being this moving target until
something
the decision's
sure.
actually made.
so should you have a couple open heart surgeries in the next 30 days, 45 days, we can expect an increase.
Absolutely.
So
It's going to be based on
Yeah,
claims
there's a-
history.
There's a pretty
the
significant
next 6
risk.
months they're going to be tabulating how much.
Well, not 6 months. It'll be until you guys make the decision. So hopefully
Okay.
within the next, hopefully within the next few weeks, realistically. Because if we get anywhere past that, there's just not going to be any time to make a move, basically.
Right.
So what would be your suggestion?
So you all have more research that you want to do on this? I guess I have one question. Can you explain to the commissioners how the transition is going to work? Because this is a calendar year program.
Mhm.
And so being a calendar year program, are we going to have two separate funds? So anything that's going to be billed out through December 31st, it's still going to be processed into January, February, March, because they might have questions with the providers,
Yeah, of
or there
course.
might be appeals that come in. Do we continue paying UMR for that TPA? So you're going to have
Correct.
an overlap on that.
Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of an overlap, and that's what that $205 that highlighted under B is highlighted yellow for, because that's the estimated runout. You're spot on. So there's going to be claims that continue to come in. We're going to have to pay UMR to continue to administrate some of those claims with that transition to make sure that it's smooth. And then, of course, Anthem's going to want to make sure it's a smooth transition as well.
Very good. I do have another question while we're
Sure.
on the subject. So for UMR to give them notice. We've obviously get that done by tomorrow to fit in their 6-month window. With your group GIS, if I know I've seen some emails come across and stuff from other administrators, and being at some of the meetings around the state, there's always other folks out there that are trying to sell their services that say that they can get in, much lower prices. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. You see some counties that save money, but that they're coming from, there's a couple dozen different groups that do what you do in the state of Indiana. So I know we've seen some emails come out to myself and the rest of the commissioners here looking at that as well. Is there anything to notify your group if we decide, if something comes in and somebody's able to provide us with, a Blue Cross Blue Shield at, a third of the price or something crazy like that? Is there anything we have to do to notify you? What would be our out for you? If that was, and I'm not saying we're considering that, it just, as we're talking about these dates, it makes me think of what.
Yeah, for sure.
What are things?
Yeah, no, our contract doesn't currently have any sort of a timestamp on it from that respect, but also if any other broker goes to Blue Cross Blue Shield, Anthem, UMR, they're going to give you the same exact rates we are. It's actually a law.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is not an insurance program. This is a self-insured benefit plan, so it's your money. So up until whatever the stop loss is, but you see in this case, Anthem, if you go with Anthem, they're covering all three bases, which you didn't have. You had UMR being your self-insured, and you had your self-insured retention, then Berkeley would pay over your self-insured retention. And so...
And then our PBM currently is Magellan still, right?
Right, and it's Magellan. So this would all be encapsulated in one unit, or Anthem's sub-companies, whatever's there. So the numbers are really based on claims history. What you're paying and what the difference is going to be is just going to be for the administration and the claims processing. So that's why it's not going to be like you're shopping different insurance carriers for insurance rates.
Okay.
So does that sort of make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The $300,000 rebate, that's going to come off of the administrative cost?
Correct. So Anthem's going to give you that $300,000 rebate up front,
Okay.
and then as your rebates come in throughout the year, they're going to recoup that first. Anything over, you guys get.
Okay.
So, for example, last year you guys had roughly $660,000 in rebates. If the same holds true for this year, you'll get $360,000
Okay, but
if you move to Anthem.
it comes out on a monthly basis as a
I believe it's quarterly.
quarterly.
Yeah.
So can you just give a little bit of an idea? I know that, obviously you rep as a broker all these different carriers. Do you have any experience or claims experience with UMR versus Anthem that you can shed some light to the commissioners?
Yeah, of course. So both of them are fantastic carriers. We have lots of business with both of them. So Anthem has been and is still currently sort of the gold standard as far as insurance is concerned. I mean, I feel like everybody's had Anthem in the past. Claims tend to go very smoothly. The other really positive thing about this Anthem program is keeping everything within the Anthem family. So the third-party administration, the stop loss, and the PBM, keeping it all within an Anthem program makes it that much more efficient.
From a provider standpoint, at least as from a clinician standpoint, I
Absolutely.
always had much better time dealing with Anthem than UMR, getting certain things that UMR just still considered experimental, even though they've been standard of care for 10, 15 years. Anthem was much further ahead of the curve on that.
Absolutely. And UMR has a little bit more flexibility in their plans. That being said, it comes at a cost. Right.
All right. Well, thank you. In that case, I'm willing to make a motion to give notice of intent to terminate UMR.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to terminate UMR. All those in favor say aye.
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 So can we at least think about getting the plan on the calendar, whether next week might be too soon for you, but at least at the next meeting, either the next meeting or the meeting after, if you're going to determine whether to go, because right now there's potential risk of escalation due to claims history.
What's going to stop us? Can't we do that at this meeting? Can't we?
You can, or you can do it on Wednesday.
So I can tell you if we don't make a decision by next meeting, Anthem is going to adjust their rates. And that's a gamble, right? It's however the last claims month was. And that's not like a hard sell kind of a thing. It's reality.
Sure. So, what is the? So I know you said for this date. What would? So they go back and look over the last month to update their things. Would we then get an additional, 29 days before they would relook at it? How often do they reevaluate? Is it every month or?
Yeah. So as soon as new data becomes available, that's when that's going to be their trigger to say. So we actually had to ask for a special, excuse me, a special extension to actually make it to this meeting today.
Okay.
They were gracious enough to do that, given the offer that they put on the table. They really want to work with you guys. If they do that, generally speaking, they give you 15 days when they release that quote.
So why don't you at least get it on the agenda for Wednesday? If you don't have enough information, you can always make a motion to pull it off.
So this printing here will be good until Wednesday the 6th.
Yeah, but if it goes out,
We need to get on next month's or next week's agenda.
technically,
Okay.
yeah.
So then do we have a,
You don't have to do anything. You
We
can
have
put it on the
a motion.
agenda.
You could just set it on the agenda as president
Yeah.
for the next one. Yeah.
so we'll do that and then motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Here.